Hey guys, okay, so as we kind of get through the end of summer here into the fall, we're going to see more and more properties come onto the market. So I wanted to just give you a few ideas before you list your property, and if you haven't already, call me. A few ideas about property inspections just to be prepared for your buyer to come in and purchase your home. They're going to have a property inspection condition, so being more prepared for those things is always better, and it's going to help the deal close quicker, smoother, those types of things. So the first one is ground slope, so overland drainage, making sure that you've got at least 3% slope going away from the foundation. If you see any places where it looks like the grass is coming towards the foundation, you're just going to want to fix that up. Just another red flag for the inspector to come and tag something there. Problems with the foundation. So they're going to be looking at cracks in the foundation, whether they're in the slab or in their walls. Generally, if they're in the slab and they're thinner than a toonie, that's something that you could just seal with some sort of epoxy grout or sealant yourself. If they're bigger ones, then that's going to be a little bit more of an issue, but certainly something to take a look at. Issues with plumbing and pipes. That's a common one that we find coming from an inspection, especially in an older home. But if you do have, leaks in your, coming down from your bath fan where you've got a bit of discoloration, those are things that you are going to want to address before you list the property. It's going to make for much nicer photos, obviously, and just another thing for them not to pick out. It could be a faucet that's leaking. It could be something major. So just, kind of paying attention to if you see any leaks around your house. Those are always good to be prepared for. Rotting wood. So the inspector is going to be checking for exposed wood, such as door jambs, windows, the roof. If there's any wooden structures, if you've built a deck or a gazebo, things like that, to see if there's any part of it that's going to be rotting already. Electrical issues, any fraying insulation, DIY wiring, mismatched wires or overcurrent, that's another big one. Safety, not so much in the alarm system, but more so the windows and doors. Do they have proper locking mechanisms? Is there enough smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, things like that? HVAC would be another one, so heating and cooling of the home, making sure there's adequate ventilation. The roof is a big one. If there is going to be a leaky roof, you're going to have some issues there, but knowing about that ahead of time and not having the inspector find it on the buyer side is always something to be a little bit more proactive with. A radon inspection, they're going to be bringing in a detector to see if there is radon in the basement. Generally in the last 4 years or so, most builders are putting in a radon rough-in. They're typically capping them at foundation, so I would suggest if you are building to make sure that you add the rough-in to go out to the roof, just so that it's not causing an issue later on. It's just such a pain to do that stuff after the fact, and you're ripping walls and your ceilings apart and stuff. So just if you're building, that's a good tip for that. And then building code violations, which if you're selling an older home, this is something that's always going to come up. Windows in the basement aren't the correct size as per code now. Copper, just different types of piping and electrical systems that were used before that were, not up to code now. Stuff like that. That's not really things that you can get around, but somebody might be looking at doing a renovation and changing some of those things out. So just a few tips for, the midweek, I guess. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a shout. You can message me on Facebook or Instagram.